This meeting is being recorded.
All right, midterm exam review. So we just got done talking about cash fraud and internal control. Let's talk about the midterm. As I had mentioned, there are three important things for you to do for this week. The first is the LinkedIn learning for Excel. The second, of course, is the quiz on cash fraud and internal controls. And the third is the midterm exam. Let's talk about the midterm exam. I'm going to enter the student view and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to show you how to be successful. So here we are, week 8. You're ready to take your midterm exam. Go ahead and click Start Attempt. Even if you're not ready, just open it up, okay? It's not going to hurt anything. I'm sorry to do this, there are 50 questions, 50 questions on the midterm exam. 50 questions, 50. Okay? I want you to think about what's on this midterm exam. The midterm exam covers chapters 1 through 8. Chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are covered on the midterm exam. Now, just think about that for a second. There's 50 questions, 8 chapters covered on the midterm exam. If you think about this logically, it's about, I think it's like 7 questions roughly per chapter. Now, I try to be very logical about exams, right? The exam goes in order. So what I mean by this, I want you to take a look at these questions. And I want you to think about where you might find the answers to the questions. And we got question 1, for example. It says, internal auditors examine financial statements to verify that they are prepared accordingly to generally accepted accounting principles. Good question. Not quite too sure about that. So what I would do is, with the impression that what we're doing is we're asking to define what is an internal auditor. What do they do? What does an internal auditor do? So if you think about that, we've got to go back a long ways, back to, I would say, chapter 1. In chapter 1, we talked about, who accountants are, what they do, all the different ones, right? So in knowing that, we talked about that kind of thing back in chapter 1. Oh, look, there's a frog triangle. I knew we talked about that before. I'm just trying to remember where it was. When we talked about what people do, and I'm pretty sure one of those people's was auditor. No, it's around here somewhere. I'm trying to remember exactly where. It's here, though. It's in chapter 1. So that's basically asking that what is the definition of an external auditor? Yep. Question 2. Question of when revenue should be recognized on the income statement according to GAAP is addressed by the, well, look at that. Interesting. Then we, again, chapter 1. So as long as I look at these 2 slides, I should answer that question. Oh, how about that? Nice and easy. Revenue when goods or services provided to customers. Interesting. That's question 2. Question 3, which of the following is not an external user of accounting information? Not an external user. Remember, external users outside the company, inside the company is internal, which is not an external user. So which of these is not outside the company? Well, I hope that one's obvious. If they work for the company, they're internal, right? Let me think about that. That's question 3. Again, chapter 1. Question 4, the assets of the company totaling 728,000, liabilities is 214. What is the equity? This is the accounting equation. Assets equals liabilities plus equity. If I'm trying to solve for equity, I need to take liabilities and put it on the other side of the equation. How do I do that? I change the sign, right? So 728 minus 214. Now you know what equity is. See? 728 minus 214 gives you equity. So again, chapter 1. Question 5, which company uses 1,300 cash to supplies? The effect of the accounting equation would be. Okay, we got to know what to debit, what to credit here. So I use cash. I paid cash, so my cash asset's going to go down, but I use it to purchase supplies. Okay, cash went down, but supplies went up. Supplies is an asset, cash is an asset. So cash went down, supplies went up, both asset accounts. The question is really knowing which, where cash and supplies fall, right? Again, chapter 1. Question 6, an account used to record the owner's investments into the business is called. Okay, please get this right. It's on chapter 1 as well. My goodness, if you get that wrong, I don't know what to say. Question 7, a credit. What a great question. A credit. You got to be real careful with this one. This is again chapter 1. Be real careful with how you read it. Okay. I'm feeling it B, just saying. Question 8. If a company purchases equipment using cash, the journal entry to record the transaction will include a debit to cash. No. Okay, you got to know the effect on the accounting equation here. So remember what happens with cash, right? So you could look at both chapter 1 or 2. I would look at chapter 2 for this one. And in fact, I would look at chapter 2 for questions 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I would look at chapter 2 for those questions, and 16, I think. And then chapter 3, 4, 5, see where we're going with this, right? So like pretty much every 7 or 8 questions is for the first chapter, then the second chapter, third chapter, so on and so forth. My recommendation for success on the midterm exam is very simple. Have the PowerPoint presentation open for each chapter, answer those first 7 questions, click Save and Close, then open up the next PowerPoint presentation, answer the next 7 questions, save and close that one, open the next one. You see where we're going with this, right? Everything's in order. Everything's in order. So as long as you go in order, there's no reason why you shouldn't ace this exam. Okay? You can see that it's 50 questions, that they're all multiple choice, a few true, false. A few math ones, but nothing too terrible. And you already know what the equations are because they're there for you. It's just a matter of plugging in the balances. But you'll be all right, I promise. Take your time with it, but remember, this must be completed by Sunday night. I cannot, and will not accept the midterm exam late. All right, so midterm exam, the quiz, the LinkedIn Learning Certificate, three things. And if you just so happen to be past due with anything, all that must also be completed by Sunday night. So please, start now. All right, start now. Start knocking that stuff out. You knock those things out, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Comments, questions, or concerns?
I have
Y'all
a
feel,
question about the chart.
Tanika, which chart? I'm sorry.
I think it's the days of, I don't know exactly what it's called, but the days where you like divide and then multiply by 365.
Oh yeah, sure. Let me open that one back up for you. So, coming down to it, I'm almost there. Great question. You're referring to this one, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So I think it was in the last chapter that we did, but it was something that was on the test that I kind of struggled with, but it had
Okay.
like the amount of inventory, like how much it cost, and then
Was
it's
that
like
was that
something
on the
about
chapter
the unit.
7? Was that on the chapter 7 quiz?
It was 6 or 7.
6 or
One.
7? Okay, let's take a quick look and see if I can help. So this is,
No, not 7. It was on 6
it
then.
was on 6? Okay. And you said it looked like a chart?
Yes.
Okay. Was it this one?
Yes.
Question 3? Okay. So question 3. Let's see what it says. Company made 2 errors. One, ending inventory at the end of year 1 was understated by 16,100.
Mhm.
And the ending inventory at year 2 was overstated by 7,100.
Yeah, I
Given this
got that wrong.
So given this information, the correct cost of goods sold for year 2 would be. So what we would do is we would take year 2 cost of goods sold and we would add in the 16,100. Okay. And let's see. And the end of year 2 was overstated. Ending inventory at the end of year 2 was overstated. So ending inventory was overstated, which means that our cost of goods sold would have been understated. So we would take the 16,100, add it in here, and then of course we would have added in the 7,100 as well. And that would have been the correct cost of goods sold amount. That one is a pretty good question.
But that didn't have anything to do with the days. That's just like some stuff about inventory.
So correct. But this one's this particular question is asking, what is basically the correct balance of cost of goods sold at end of year 2?
Maybe it's not that one because it says something about units.
Units? Okay, let me see.
There it
This one?
is.
Okay,
That one. Yep.
got it. Bingo. All right, so question 6. The question is asking us if the company uses first in, first out method and the perpetual inventory system, what would be the cost of the ending inventory? So remember, first in, first out means the first amount of inventory we get in is the first that we're going to sell. So here I have some data. I sold 1,000 units at $110 on April 11th. So what I need to do is I'm going to look at the amount that I purchased on April 1. I purchased 700 units, so all of those have been sold. And I also sold, what is this, probably, so 7, 8, 9, 10 would be 300. So I sold 300 out of these 580. You see what I'm saying? So your ending inventory would be, let's see here. And the way that you would calculate this is going to be, is it chapter 6? It is. Chapter 6, first in, first out. Chapter 6, first in, first out. Here we are, first in, first out. So just like, we would calculate it just like this. So we're continuously selling the first amounts, right? So I started with this, I purchased this, we sold this, which means we're going to sell that first batch that we had at the beginning, first in, first out. So we sold that first, and then we sold some additional units from that second purchase. That's what that shows us. So as long as you follow that process, you should be able to derive the correct response for that question.
Is the second purchase the 2,500?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Well, I'm sorry. The second purchase is the 1,590. Because we started with the 910. Okay. We purchased 1,590 worth. 15 bikes at 106. So 15 bikes at 106, we just add that to our previous balance of 910. So 1,590 plus 910 is 2,500. When I started selling, I sold my first batch first. And then I started selling part of the second purchase, you see? So that'll help you to solve that question.
I got some big study into this.
Yeah, it's all good. You'll get there. I know you will. Okay, any other comments, questions, or concerns? All right. Thank you all so very much for your time today. I sincerely appreciate all of you. If you need anything, you can email me, call me, set up office hours. I'm here for you. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you. Sir.
Good night.
Thank you, Dr. B. You as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. B.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.